busters. In less time than it takes an ice cube to melt, a portable air conditioning unit was installed and working. The lady simmered down.
You heat busters are so wonderful. Why don't we...
It was time to leave. Portable air conditioning on hire for written details. Call Free Phone Heat Busters. No sweat.
And our next caller is John, calling from Slough. Hello, John.
Hello.
Hello, John.
I've got a 65 Aston Martin DB5.
Right.
And I wonder if it's possible if I could or someone to overhaul the oil pump, because they're £300 exchange. And not everybody with Astons has got lots of money.
Yeah, sure. Well, have you been in touch with the Owners Club and found out if it's possible to get a kit for that?
Yeah, then they really don't know, to be honest.
Right, okay. And then the next step really would be to find out who manufactured the pump.
Holborn Eaton.
Holborn Eaton?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, I think they are now part of the GKN group. And therefore, I would get in touch with them and find out whether you can get separate gears and seals and etc. for the pumps. The other person who might know, I don't know whether you have been in touch with him or not, is my virtually next door neighbour where my workshop is Richard Williams.
Oh yeah, I know him very well.
You do?
Yeah.
And what does he say?
Not that he knows of. It's just an exchange pump.
Yeah. Well, okay, I mean, the fact that it is an exchange pump must mean that there are parts available for it. And I would go the Holborn Eaton route first, yeah?
You see, at the moment, you can only buy... They've got a monopoly that you can only buy parts from Aston Martin direct.
Sure. But you may find, well, there are two routes to take. Yeah, go back to Holborn Eaton and find out if you can buy the gear separately. And the other, which is very common with Aston Martin, and applies to a lot of small volume manufacturers, they will invariably use components which other major manufacturers use because it is cheaper. They don't have to pay for tooling cost. So, for example, London taxis and some Aston Martins share the same clutch, and other sort of details like that. So a little bit of digging may be necessary. Once you know the dimensions of the gears that you're talking about, and you may well find that something like I don't know, a Foden truck or something else will use exactly the same components for which you can buy the kits, and then you can do your own.
Where would I find out? You see, as soon as you mention Aston Martin, they don't want to know anybody. It's like a brick wall. But
yeah,
you'd have to find out the alternative before you really ring.
No. I would say if you ring Holborn Eaton and say, look, I want to overhaul this pump. I do not wish to purchase a replacement pump because it is too expensive. I cannot afford it. Can you help me? Then they will almost certainly give you the help you need to get the parts from an alternative source, if there indeed is one. Now, if there isn't one, well, then you're in trouble, and you may have to find something of your own back that is an alternative to the current oil pump.
Well, John, thank you for your call. Good luck with that. We go to Hampton next, and it's Harry on the line. Hello, Harry.
Good morning.
Morning. Oh, afternoon now.
Afternoon, I mean, sorry.
Yes, what's your question for Gerard?
I have a 1975 Ford Cortina automatic, and the sump pan on the automatic gearbox is leaking all the time.
Right.
I've put 4 gaskets on it,
yeah,
and it's still leaking. So have you any ideas at all?
Well, my first question is, are you sure it's leaking from the gasket?
Yes, it's coming out. I've seen it. Yes, it drips out every morning after it's been standing over the night. There's a pool there,
Yeah, but you're sure it's not from the filler tube and neck that's on the side of the sump?
No. The only filler tube is at the top,
Oh, okay.
where you fill it from.
What year is your car?
It's 1975.
Oh, sorry, yes, it's the early one. Sorry, yeah, okay. Well, in that case, the only thing I can think of, as it is a tin pan, what you do is next when you take it off again, and get a flat piece of steel that fits neatly in the edge where all the bolts fit into, and flatten out.
Well, I've just bought a new sump pan for it, you see, and fitted on.
And it still leaks?
Yeah, the thing is, you've got about an inch on the pan. What the bottom of the gearbox is, it's only about a quarter of an inch there, and it's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything I can put on the gasket at all, or anything?
No, well, what I would do is it a cork gasket?
Yes, yeah.
Ah, right, okay. Now, then do the following, right? Because this will cure your problem for once and for all. If you take the sump pan itself, And then, with the help of gasket paper, which you can get from motor factors, get say 0.7 millimeter gasket paper, and cut yourself a paper gasket. Don't put a cork one underneath there, because the distortion that happens when you tighten it down means that actually you're squeezing the gasket away from in between the gearbox and the pan, and then you're actually causing your own leak again.
It's no good putting sealing on it at all, is it, you know?
No, that's dangerous as well with automatic boxes, because when that sealer gets inside your valve block assembly, it cuts the flow of oil, and all sorts of funny things start to happen. So it's best to keep it dry, or perhaps a very, very thin smear of Hylomar. Do you know Hylomar?
Yes.
That's right, very thinly. Yeah, and use a paper gasket, and make sure that you have a very straight and flat sampan itself.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right.
Right, good luck with that, Harry. Thank you very much indeed for ringing. What was that stuff you mentioned finally? 'Cause I hadn't heard that before.
Hylomar. Hylomar.
Right.
Wonderful stuff.
Good. That should stop a couple of letters coming in anyway. In fact, Harry was our last caller because we've run out of time for this week. So it's time for me to say thank you very much indeed to Gerard, who we'll see next month on the Fix It phone-in, brought to you in association with Texas Home Care. And next week, in this, the final hour of the programme, we'll be joined by Jill McWilliam, who'll be advising on microwave cooking and also how to get the best out of your freezer. That's in the final hour of the Fix It phone-in next week. But now, to find out what's happening on London's roads, we're going to cross over to the AA for a check on the traffic.
Very busy on the roads this afternoon, and there are delays for drivers on the A13 Newham Way at Newham. Eastbound traffic is down to one lane only between Barn Street and Cumberland Road because of roadworks. That's causing long delays in the area, also affecting traffic on the A124 Barking Road. There are a couple of marches getting underway in the next hour. One at 1:30, which starts from Holton Road at Islington and is going to Whittington Park, and the other which starts from Hyde Park at 2 o'clock, heading for Prince Consort Road, and delays are likely along both routes there. Out of town, most of the problems are occurring on the motorways. There's still an 8-mile tailback anti-clockwise on the M25 approaching junction 12 the M3, an 11-mile tailback westbound from junction 12 of the M4 Thiel following an earlier accident, and 2-mile queues either side of the Dartford Tunnel. Marianne Randall, AA Roadwatch.
The 1 o'clock news and weather next here on LBC Radio, and that's followed by Time Off, presented as usual by Steve Crozier and Susie Walton.
Hilarious, moving, very funny.
Every now and again, a film comes along that defies description.
Very funny, with some sad bits.
That's why I'm sitting here wearing a big red false nose. Hawks is one of those films.
It'll make you laugh.
Timothy Dalton and Anthony Edwards wear one. Find out why in Hawks.
It'll make you cry. Oh, thank you.
Pleasure. Hawks, because cliches just won't do. Hawks at the Odeon Haymarket now, rated 15.
On May the 28th, 1987, a 19-year-old German decided to single-handedly improve East-West relations. He flew through the world's most closely guarded airspace, and his arrival in Moscow's Red Square shook the Kremlin to its very foundations. His name is Matthias Rust, and you can read his account of what really happened only in the Mail on Sunday. The Mail on Sunday, a newspaper, not a snooze paper.
Come on down to Wembley Stadium Market and make sure you get a bargain this and every Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Free parking for 4,000 cars. The Wembley Stadium
Market. 97.3 FM stereo, LBC Radio.
The 1 o'clock news, this is Therese Birch. The IRA is now admitting it carried out yesterday's bomb attack on a British Army barracks in West Germany. 3 soldiers and a civilian were injured in the blast at Roy Barracks near Dusseldorf. Meanwhile, military sources have revealed there are no plans to dramatically increase security arrangements at British bases. Reporting from West Germany, John Cookson.
There are more than 200 British Air Force and Army bases in West Germany. Some are soft targets like the Roy Barracks, bombed yesterday, plus countless bars, shops and schools frequented by servicemen and their families. Military chiefs here say determined terrorists will always find ways of breaching the tightest security, and that's one reason why there are no plans to upgrade present arrangements. The other is that tough security cordons would alienate servicemen from the community here, scoring another propaganda blow for